Have you ever heard the whispers of a ghost trapped by regret? This is a story that begins in the final, dying embers of an ancient war. It's the tale of a samurai, one of the greatest warriors of his time, who found himself on the wrong side of a blade held by his own clan. Betrayed, he fell in battle, but his soul, heavy with the weight of promises unkept, refused to cross into the afterlife. They say his spirit was chained between worlds, becoming something not quite living, not quite dead, half memory, half shadow. He was cursed to wander the earth, his only companion the eerie glow of a blood-red moon. Legends began to spread through the villages, whispers of a phantom warrior whose sword could be heard singing on the wind, an unseen, eternal guardian. But this was no vengeful spirit. He wasn't seeking retribution. The legends say he rises once every century, his ghostly form taking shape not to fight, but to remember. He searches for a face he swore he would always protect, a memory that has become both his anchor and his curse. This is how the myth of the Shadow Samurai was born, a soul caught in the endless tug of war between vengeance and forgiveness, a warrior whose battle was far from over. Centuries pass, the world transforms. The quiet glow of temple fires is replaced by the harsh, vibrant pulse of neon lights. The clatter of machines drowns out the old codes of honor. Yet, through all this change, one thing remains constant. The Shadow Samurai still walks. He wears no name, carries no banner. He is guided only by the faint, distorted echoes of his past, a life he can feel, but can no longer recall. His existence is a lonely one, a silent journey through a world that has forgotten him and the values he once died for. Then, one rainy night, under the glare of a sprawling metropolis, he sees her, a young woman, her face illuminated by the city's artificial glow, and on her coat, a small, almost imperceptible detail, the crest of his lost clan. The moment his spectral eyes fall upon it, something cracks open within him. Fragments of his forgotten life, like shards of a broken mirror, begin to surface. He sees flashes of a serene garden, hears the distant laughter of a child, feels the warmth of a hand he once held. He begins to follow her, not as a predator, but as a guardian drawn by an unseen force. Through her, through the life she leads, he starts to piece together the puzzle of his own eternity. He learns that the curse binding him to this world was never about avenging his betrayal. It was about remembrance. The very memories he had spent centuries trying to kill, the painful echoes of his failure, were the only things keeping his soul from fading into nothingness. And in that profound, heart-wrenching realization, the ghost, for the first time in an age, feels human again, if only for a fleeting, precious moment. The final chapter of this timeless story unfolds on a quiet, clear night. The red moon, his eternal watcher, is now a pale, fading crescent in the sky, its cycle nearing an end, just like his. The Shadow Samurai, no longer a raging spirit, but a weary, calm presence, stands on a hill overlooking the modern world. He has finally faced the truth of his long existence. His endless journey wasn't about seeking revenge against those who wronged him. It was a pilgrimage to understand the life he once lived, to accept the man he was, and to forgive himself. Beside him stands the young woman, the last heir of his forgotten clan. She isn't afraid. She seems to understand his silent story. In a final, symbolic gesture, he passes on his spirit, not as a curse to be carried, but as a blessing of protection, a legacy of honor. His spectral blade, the symbol of his regret and his duty, falls silently to the earth, turning to dust before it hits the ground. His form, once a solid shadow, dissolves into a gentle shower of light, like fireflies ascending into the dawn. There is no final battle, no cry of vengeance, only peace. The legend of the Shadow Samurai ends right where it began, as a mere whisper on the wind. But it has changed. It is no longer a tale of a vengeful ghost, but a story of redemption. They say that even now, on quiet nights when the moon is just a sliver of silver, if you listen closely, you can still hear the faint echo of a samurai's final vow. A truth he learned across 1,000 years: a warrior's duty is not to fight forever, but to know when to rest. Thank you for joining me on this journey. If this story moved you, please like, share, and subscribe for more tales from the shadows. Until next time!